We're gonna move on to the sport of boxing now, and I want to talk about boxing because I didn't know my guy Lee was out here watching boxing like that. So when he told me like, "Yo, let's talk about this fight," I'm like, "Oh yeah, we might as well." As Shakur Stevenson dominated Teofimo Lopez to become a 4 division world champion. Did Shakur Stevenson make a statement? And if so, what was that statement? And did he put that boring label to bed? Lee, the mic is yours to kick us off.
Yeah, Leel, I hate when people talk about boxing and they talk about fighters being boring. Look, the object is to hit and not be hit. That's what boxing is about, right? The knockouts and things of that nature. I know the casual fan looks at it and they want to see a big knockout, and I get that. But the art, the sweet science of boxing is hit and don't get hit. That's what it is. And guys like Floyd Mayweather and Shakur Stevenson, I love because his foot speed was impeccable. His defense was impeccable. And look, that was a shutout, man. That dude won 11 out of 12 rounds. I mean, he was just masterful with what he did. He connected on like 44% of the punches that he threw. I mean, Lopez was like 15%, man. And it was just an all-out ass whooping. That's what it was. And Shakur, look, pound for pound, you got to put him up there, Leel. Before Bud retired, because I think Bud is number one. I got to give it to Bud. I think he's number one. Usyk is probably, I'll give it to Bud, and then I'll go Usyk, the heavyweight. But Shakur Stevenson is in the top 4. There's no doubt about that. I love that. And the notion that he's born now, man, that man has defense, and he showed that his jab, Leel, is strong, man. His jab beat up Teofimo. I mean, he beat him up with a jab, man. And I'm telling you, the guy is the real deal. And I just love everything about him, man. And I look forward to what's next for him. I hate that, Tank has, started to get himself in so much trouble that you don't know where his career is going to go, because I was looking forward to that fight being made at some point. But no, I love everything about Stevenson, man. One of my favorite fighters out there, and I enjoyed the match on Saturday.
I mean, look, the only statement that Shakur Stevenson made against Teofimo Lopez was a statement that he made before the fight even began. But I'm going to touch on that in my second lap. I want to preference by saying it was a good win for Shakur Stevenson. As I put my boxing expert hat on before I turn my fan hat on, right? Because there's a fan hat and there's an expert hat, right? So we're gonna start off with the expert. It was a complete domination. Lopez never found a way to close the distance, as Shakur controlled the center of the ring for the majority, if not the whole entire fight, with his jab, with his footwork. Yep. And when Teofimo tried to land any of his offense, it was easy reads for Stevenson to be able to return punches before Lopez was able to build any follow-up. I thought his corner and his trainer, his pops, gave him terrible advice with no in-ring adjustments. He was just like, hit him, bro, asking for more power. I mean, those in-ring adjustments, if you can even call it that, is not going to be the guy like Shakur Stevenson. It's not happening. Look, it was a clinical performance, right? And I just wanted to get that boxing expert stuff out the way, because I don't want to hear people saying, Leel, you don't know boxing, because I'm going to say Shakur Stevenson is not entertaining, because he's not. And look, it's just the reality. Not that, I care about people's opinion. Obviously, I know I watched boxing when I was born, and I'm very knowledgeable of the sport. But the reality is he's not entertaining. So did he put the boring label aside? I don't think he did, at least not for me, right? From a preference standpoint, he's a technician, and we get it. But he's a technician that's not entertaining. And did he put the runner label aside? Yeah, I think he put the runner label aside, because a lot of people unfairly, label him as a runner, a track star, because he fought De Los Santos with one hand, and he was definitely running that fight. But he said it was the injuries. He has brittle hands, so I could understand that. But yeah, I think he put the label of being a runner to the side. He stood in the pocket. He planted his feet, and he took away Teo's explosiveness, and he landed an exchange and punished Teo, right? So, in the last fight against Williams Zepeda, again, he planted his feet and he let his hands go, and he beat Zepeda at his game, you know. So and Zepeda's a guy that throw 100 punches per round. So he was going to force Shakur into a fight, and he did, and Shakur answered the bell. So clearly, this is not a knock with his skill set. Trust me, I know the sport of boxing. I know this guy's a technician. I know he's talented, and I know this guy's going to be hard to beat. But again, the question, did he label the boring narrative away? No, he didn't. And did he make a statement? I'll talk about the statement that he made before the fight. That was the actual statement that he made. But Lee, if you want to respond, by all means.
Yeah, I don't know what you when you say he didn't. I don't know what you think is boring about the way he fight. I'm a purist. I like the fact that you can. First of all, his jab was just unstoppable. He was before Lopez was coming in. He was in London. He was just popping him with the jab, just beating him up. That's boxing, right? And then he loaded up on a couple power shots, but I love it. I mean, I love it. You look. You know, people talk about Floyd Mayweather as he got older and his defensive skills. First of all, he's the greatest defensive fighter of all time, Floyd Mayweather. And they say the same thing about
Stevenson. Over Pernell Whitaker?
I think so. Now, Sweet Pea was bad. Sweet Pea was a great defensive player, but
Mayweather was very calm.
Don't get hit at all, Leel.
The one thing about Mayweather, and I seen it when he fought Sugar Shane, when Sugar Shane literally almost knocked him out. He was very calm after that. Like, he didn't panic. He just stood there and was very calm, like in the pocket, like as a defensive fighter in the pocket.
His boxing mind is superior, Floyd's is. And I liken Shakur Stevenson to that. Man, that dude is cerebral in the ring. His spacing.
He's the closest thing to Floyd right now.
He keeps the proper
as far as defensively.
Yeah, he keeps the proper distance. You don't rush him, you don't speed him up, and he just does his thing, man. And I love it. I don't think it's boring. I think it's a sweet science of getting in there. Now, if you want to brawl and you want to see people throwing haymakers and knocking people up, no, you're not gonna get that. But when you talk about longevity in boxing, you don't want to stay there and brawl and trade those haymakers. You want to do what Shakur and Floyd did, is box, because it's called boxing for a reason.
With all due respect to the longevity point that you just made, because I understand where it could be coming from a health perspective, but with the way how these guys are getting paid today and the exhibitions and the social media, I don't really think there's going to be longevity as far as a lot of these prize fighters, you know, regardless of their style. I just think it's get paid and get out. I think Tank is on his way out. I won't be surprised if Brian Garcia is on his way out after a couple more paydays. You know, Bud, I wouldn't say Bud retired early, but he retired before he got to 40. You know, so I think
Bud's coming back, Lil. Bud's coming back.
I mean, I don't know why he was.
It's the right fight, and it's the money right now for Bud, because Bud can be selective now. He can be selective of when he wants to fight and if he wants to come back. Same way Floyd was in his latter years, right? Floyd made $1 billion boxing, $1 billion boxing. And none of these other cats are going to do that but when you look at Shakur Stevenson at 28, can he box for another 10 years and make another $200 million? Absolutely. And that's what you want to do. You want to extend your career. You don't want to be in that slugging and getting all these brain injuries because you want to test your manhood and slug it out with people in the ring. No, continue to box, young man, and continue to win fights. 11 rounds.
Look, I understand there's a group of people that don't really watch boxing fully. Like, they tune into the big names and they call themselves a boxing fan. I'm not that type of individual. I've been watching boxing for years. I've seen so many styles. I'm a fan of so many people in this sport today. But what I'm saying is, and I differentiate myself from those people. Is he boring? Does he has a boring style? I think so. I mean, look, the last two fights weren't that bad. Still, I am a guy that I deserve a preference, right? For example, you ask me my top 5 favorite athletes of all time, right? It's Tom Brady, because what I like is I like explosiveness. I like clutch. I like killer instinct, right? Those are the things that really draw me to an individual athlete for me to follow them and really root for them at the core level. Tom Brady, he may not have the explosiveness, but he had the killer instinct. He was clutch, right? Kobe Bryant is in my top 5 favorite athletes of all time. We know he had the killer instinct. We know he was clutch. We know he had that dog. We knew he was explosive, right? Another of my favorite athletes is Terrence Crawford, who obviously is very involved with Shakur. They like best buddies, and obviously I'm pretty sure he got advice to beat T.O. from Bud Crawford just because of Bud Crawford's expertise and experience. But what he had that Shakur doesn't have is that killer instinct. Bud could box, right? Bud was a great boxer, but what he had to go along with that, he was a puncher too. He was a guy that could stop. Look what he did to Spence. If Canelo didn't have the granite chin that he has, he would have knocked out Canelo. This was a guy with that dog. Look how he got Sean Porter. Oh, I'm losing? Oh, nah, I'm not going to be losing no more. Got him out of there. Okay? So that's my preference. Yeah, sure. If y'all want to label me a guy that don't know boxing because I think Shakur is boring, by all means, okay? Let the narrative be the narrative. But for me, I just don't think Shakur has that dog. I think he's a skillful fighter. I think that pound for pound, he's on that list. I think he's the closest thing to Mayweather as far as defensively. I think Tank is the closest as far as popularity. But as far as that killer instinct, as far as that explosiveness, I don't really see that from Shakur. And that really is my preference when it comes to the athletes that I'm a fan of.
No, and look, everybody has their own preference. I'm not knocking your preference, but when you win 119 to 109, Leo,
think about the team that I don't like. For a prime example, in the NFL that I come at, the Steelers, right? Because they run the ball and we want to win the turnover margin and the time of possession. They're not explosive. I'm consistent with my preference. It doesn't mean that I don't know football.
Winning is winning. I don't care how you win. Winning is winning. You are from New York. You saw the Giants win ugly all the time, but winning is winning. That's all it is. The Giants won ugly. They won a pretty team. They won ugly, right? And so winning is winning. 119 to 109, 11 rounds to 1. That's boxing. That's skill, if you ask me.
This is my last point. I want to talk about the statement that I think Shakur made. Not I think he made. Literally, it's a statement that came out of his mouth before the bell even rang, because he came out and said that he studied Teofimo Lopez for years. So by him saying that this was a fight that he knew he would win, right? Clearly, prior to this fight, we saw Teofimo Lopez struggles. We all knew that he struggled against defensive-minded fighters. When he fought Sandor Martin, a lot of people thought he lost to Jermaine Ortiz, right? We saw him struggle against defensive-minded fighters closing that distance. So as a guy that clearly knows the sport of boxing, Shakur Stevenson was always going to be tailor-made for Teofimo. Okay, or basically, Teofimo was always going to be tailor-made for Shakur Stevenson. That's why he made the fight. Don't get me wrong. Fighters do this all the time, right? Devin Haney is known for being the ultimate opportunist. Like, he doesn't take a fight that he doesn't believe he could win, right? He saw food like a lion when Kambosos had the belts. He went and took it. He saw food when he moved up to 140 and saw Regis progress and knew that he was clearly a one-trick pony and a basic fighter. He took the opportunity. Shakur Stevenson did the same thing here. He saw Teofimo being exposed in the fights leading up to this fight. He knew what his skills were and was like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to be an opportunist and take that belt and really carve a lane, which, I'm not saying he's wrong for that. I'm just saying the statement that he made in this fight was before this fight even took place, because to me, I'm not surprised that he did what he did. So what is the statement that he made?
It's no difference, Leel, than Bud when he went up to fight Canelo. He knew that he could beat Canelo. Canelo was slow. He knew he could beat. It's no difference. He knew that he could beat Canelo. It panned out that way. He did the same thing that a young Mayweather did to Canelo. He knew it. There's no difference than what Stevenson did with Lopez. And the thing about Stevenson, who do you think can beat Stevenson at this point, Leel? I don't see anybody out there that can.
I mean, Tank would be a good fight if Tank could get his act together.
That would be a good fight because of Tank's power, but
Yeah,
Tank would have to hit him. And
he would have
again,
to hit him.
he
He
would
would
have
have
to
to hit
hit
him.
him.
But
And
Tank
again,
was a good
he's
boxer. He's
defensive.
underrated. He's underrated as a boxer.
And I don't believe Tank will knock out Stevenson, and I think Stevenson will win on points against Tank.
I mean, we have yet to see Shakur Stevenson's chin tested. And I understand what the naysayer going to say. Well, that's because he's such great defensively.
Absolutely.
And granted, he's very good defensively. But eventually, something is going to land. It did with Mayweather. As great as Mayweather was, we saw him take a shot against Sugar Shane Mosley.
Yeah, that was one shot. He took a shot. But
and we saw him recover, never panic, never wavered, was calm, stood in the pocket, and outboxed Sugar Shane Mosley. And it also helped that Sugar Shane Mosley was out of his prime, clearly, when they fought, right? So he did run out of gas, right? That's neither here or there. We saw the adversity overcame. Say what you want about the dynamics, you know, whatever, with age and whatnot. We saw him overcome the adversity. We have yet to see Shakur Stevenson chin tested. And if it does, we'll see how he responds. But as of right now, clearly he's a cat out.
He's a man right now.
And Teofimo wasn't able to answer the challenge, and we'll see what happens with him and where he goes from here. Because to me, this was an embarrassing loss. Say what you want about the styles and how Shakur Stevenson saw the opportunity, how the boxing people were right. Clearly, he was an underdog, but you should not lose with your experience in this type of fashion in a prize fight. This was, yeah, sure, it may not be the biggest prize fight, but it was a big fight. Yeah. And the biggest fight of both of these guys' career, arguably, you could say Lomachenko was that too for Teofimo Lopez, right around the same level. But to lose a fight of this magnitude like that in a pure domination fashion, I don't know where Teofimo goes from here. And I think what he do need to do, and I hate to say it because I like his father. I think his father is a great personality. Like he's very entertaining. But with those advice that he got in that ring, hit him, bro. You know, like, nah. I think he should probably fire his father as a trainer. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only, The Real Leel on The Real Leel Show.